had a psychedelic trip years ago when I lived in Bathgate. I lived with friends, and it was just me alone awake at night in the living room, sitting on a couch across from a fireplace that was made of bricks, orange bricks with white cement between the bricks. And this story is about a moment in that trip, and towards the end of that trip, all I done was sit and stare at these bricks. And specifically, the concepts and themes that were coming to mind was the space between the bricks. So the cement was white on orange, and it was very prominent, it was outlined. And I'm getting all this imagery that's to do with the space between things. So I was seeing shapes that were touching like this, and I was wondering what the black line in the middle was. Like, what holds everything together, or is something pushing it together and keeping it? But what exists between the line? And my body became, or was displaced, or felt like it was in this space between things, and it was being stretched. There's a Japanese anime, I think it's Japanese, it could be Korean. I can't bring it up right now because I don't have the computer here, I'm just doing this off the laptop, but this comic's about a crack that appears in the side of a mountain, and it's person shaped, it's like a silhouette, and people are drawn towards it. And the shape of the person walks right into the mountain, and they start going through this person-shaped tunnel, and it's very claustrophobic, and all the light disappears, and they keep travelling deeper and deeper. And what happens to the tunnel is it gets narrower and narrower. And so during my trip, I was between the lines in a tunnel type thing that was just the right shape. I was creating it for myself as I was going through this different substrate of reality that I was experiencing, and I was being stretched smaller and smaller and smaller until it became a single line. I had no dimensions other than straight forward and back, and it felt really strange. I wasn't listening to any music, it was just ambient quietness. It was really peaceful, and it felt like a journey towards something, and there was effort involved that was quite pleasurable to expend towards this infinite ending goal of getting smaller and smaller. And so the trip ended this way. It was just continuous for a long time, and the sun came up, and I remember briefly, like every now and again I would come to my sort of senses and touch reality, and I would will myself back into what I was experiencing beforehand. And every time I came back, I was sort of laughing because it all started from the fireplace, and from this place of just being. Before I'd started tripping about that, I have this thing when I'm like tripping that no matter what you're looking at, you can relate to it. Everything seems to be like you're able to take any stimulus and sort of blow it into this massive thing, or it does that on its own, I don't know. But if you spend enough time looking at one thing or thinking about one thing, it usually becomes enriched with something else, meaning and emotions and lessons, and there's an experience, I guess. And it just so happened that I'd picked the fireplace cement as my focus this time, and also to be still. I was in a sort of like cross-legged position, and I was aware of the sunlight around my silhouette. The window was to my back, it was coming past me, and it was leaving my shape on the fireplace, and so I was looking at the sort of cement within my own silhouette. Yeah, that's that's about all. This will be maybe trip experience number 1. Just thought I'd share that.